We've got Pav and Stuart with us. They work as dentists, and in part one, you saw how they went through one of the early drafts of a personal statement. And in this part, we're going to be looking at the final draft that actually got the student into dental school. So we'll see the improvements that were made, and we'll see what Pav and Stuart think about the final draft as well. So we'll get straight back into it. And what we're doing is we're using a scale of 1 to 3, 1 being terrible, and 3 being a very good and outstanding personal statement. So Stuart and Pav, we'll do this like last time. We'll be using a scale of 1 to 3, 1 being not as good, 2 being okay, and 3 being an amazing personal statement or section which we read. So we'll start off with the first paragraph. So dentistry is a dynamic profession combining cutting-edge science with patient care. My ambition is to become a dentist with an active role in the community, and this desire stems from my parents who work as nurses. This has inspired me to apply my abilities so that I too can help others. Furthermore, the opportunity to shadow a maxillofacial surgeon introduced me to the field of dentistry, and this is when I first became fascinated by the dental profession. I thoroughly believe that the skills I have gained from my degree, work experience, and extracurricular activities will enable me to cope with the demands of dentistry. Stuart.
Yeah, it's definitely more concise, isn't it, than the previous one. I think both me and Pav said maybe be a bit more specific, but I think this highlights that maybe you don't have to be to get into dental school. But overall, I think it reads a lot better. Yeah. There's a lot more specific points dotted around. And I think that end of that first paragraph leads quite well on. It sort of sets up the rest of the personal statement, doesn't it? Because obviously you talk about your degree and work experience, and they're going to bring it in a second. So I think it's a much better opening paragraph than the one that we saw previously.
Out of 1, 2, and 3, what would you say?
2 and a little bit.
2. All right, so Stuart still sees room for improvement. And Pav?
The exact same as Stuart. I think our opinions have been quite similar throughout. And when I read this, well, when you read it out for me, I was like, yep, so much better. The last sentence, again, you've just kind of set the whole structure out, which I know exactly what Stuart said. So I preferred this. I guess here what they've done is change the fact that the maxillofacial surgeon introduced them to kind of dental, like the dental part of medicine, would you like, you know, could you say, rather than that the other earlier statement, it was like, I've watched this person and I've seen them use their instruments, and it wasn't really leading to anything, whilst this does lead to something. So I think a lot better, really. So I'd give it a 2.
The person seems to also have taken out the wanting to become an NHS dentist. Do you think that's a big thing, a small thing, neither here or there?
Do you know, honestly, I think it's a great thing. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, no here, no there for me. I'm not.
No, it doesn't matter if you're private or NHS, you're still a dentist. And I think that should be the main focus of the whole conversation.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so Pav, what score would you give the opening and intro?
2.
2.
Good 2.
4 weeks of work experience in a dental practice made me appreciate the pressures dentists face just working within the appointment times and delivering a consistent service to patients. I learned the importance of communication and building relationships with patients, and the significance of a multidisciplinary team in providing effective treatment. Visits to 3 different dental laboratories gave me an insight into the process of producing dentures, from recording the first impressions to the fitting of the dentures. This experience was invaluable and made me appreciate how necessary the close collaboration between dentists and lab technicians is in producing dentures, highlighting the importance of being able to work within a team. Pav.
So the whole paragraph, like, I know it's all about work experience and what this patient has, what this person has seen from it. So I think that's like great structure, first of all. They've just, it's so much more concise. I know it's not, again, the kind of specific points that we were saying to make, but in essence they are, because now even if he's just talking about dentures, it shows he does know, or he or she, sorry, does know what the whole process is. And I just think the fact that someone reading it knows, oh, this is their work experience, it's a good sign anyway. Whilst, to be fair, when I read the earlier one, there was experience dotted first paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph, and I just think that the structure puts you off anyway. So it's good. I think it's mentioned all the keywords: communication, multidisciplinary team, the experience. So I think it is better than the other one.
So structure really does play a lot into how you read a personal statement and how well you receive it.
Definitely. I think it makes it easier for me to read, so then I understand it. And I think the others, you just try and decipher through the information to figure out where the key points are. And, people are reading this, they'll be reading through thousands. If you've just put it nice and easy for me in one paragraph, it's so nice, isn't it? It's just a tick box exercise then.
Exactly. What would you give this part?
A 2 again.
2 again. Good. 2. Stuart?
Yeah, you can tell that they've changed the structure. I'm glad that they put it all in one place, as Pav said, because they're literally going to read through these once. So they're going to have this and have a little sort of crib sheet next to it. If they've got all the information in one paragraph and they're not searching between, you're more likely to get more points based on your work experience. Just based on your personal statement even. It's much better than the first paragraph. It's more concise. It highlights points that they were good at. Again, probably personal preference, but I think putting in a specific example is definitely more useful. I think that would have taken this. I still think this is probably a good 2. I think putting in a very specific example would have taken it to a 3 and may just probably stand out quite a lot. But overall, a lot better, and it's much more readable than the previous one.
Okay. So studying medical physiology has provided me with a knowledge base that I'll be able to further build on in order to cope with the challenges of studying dentistry. Throughout the degree, my practical skills have been enhanced, as well as my ability to work autonomously. Researching the trigeminal nerve reinforced my interest in dentistry, as I learned how local anesthetics work. This related to my observation during my work experience of the dentist targeting the inferior alveolar nerve when injecting xylocaine. Before this degree, I had an interest in becoming a dentist, but now I'm confident that I would like to pursue a career in dentistry. All right, Stuart.
Yeah, again, you can just say that, I might as well, we're going to say it in every paragraph, but it's definitely better. I think getting rid of the ICT thing definitely makes it flow a little bit better. I think, I don't know, I don't think many of us use the term xylocaine. Again, that's probably just a little point. I would perhaps change that because it looks as though you've Googled it.
What do we use commonly then?
Just lidocaine would be fine, wouldn't it? Xylocaine's like a brand name.
So. They did use lidocaine in the previous statement, didn't they?
I know, yeah, which I found strange. They've probably passed it by an old dentist and they've said, oh, change that to xylocaine. But again, that's just here and there, really. But I think if you're going to mention something related to dentistry, you've got to be reasonably specific. Yeah. So, again. But no, it's loads better. Maybe my only criticism for this is the last sentence of this seems like a concluding statement for the whole
personal statement.
For the whole statement. So I would perhaps consider putting that elsewhere. Or maybe just let it, it's quite like final, like I am ready. I would personally put that at the end, but maybe just draw it and be less sort of, what am I trying to say? It's quite conclusive, this, isn't it? It's like a good concluding remark. So I probably wouldn't put it at the end of this paragraph. That's it, really.
1, 2, or 3?
2 and a bit.
2 and a bit, okay. So we've gone from low 2s and 1.5 to
1 there, so I think it's twice as good.
Pav?
So I like this paragraph in general. I think it's a good paragraph. I thought the structure's a lot better. I think the fact that they've linked their degree, what they've learned through the practical skills to learning independently to then dentistry is really, really good. Because that, it's just got so much better flow. That last sentence when you read it, I thought, oh, that's a really good sentence. But I agree actually with you. I wouldn't expect a lot more after that. It's very like, I'm ready for this. you know, give me an interview, which is nice because it just shows that you have made that decision. Still, you know, I don't know, it's not put me like off it or anything. I think it's a really good paragraph. I just I'm excited to see how it ends now.
1, 2, or 3?
2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
As a Duke of Edinburgh leader, I managed and supported a working group for a year as they completed their Bronze Award, and this helped me to improve my interpersonal skills. For the Gold Award, I had to navigate and camp out for 4 days in Snowdonia, and this was successful due to good communication and interdependence within my group. Moreover, my teamwork and communication skills have been further developed as a result of my 3 years' experience working as a healthcare assistant. As a part of a multidisciplinary team, I ensure that patient care is of a high quality in order to supplement the beneficial effects of treatment. I also volunteer as a support worker for vulnerable adults with dementia, and in doing so, I've learned to become more empathetic and non-judgmental. Pam.
So yeah, this is the whole paragraph on outside of dentistry, outside of work life, and I think they've done a good job. You know, they've mentioned their teamwork, they've showed how they've done that with Snowdonia, and you know, even then fitted in like healthcare assistant, which is like your hobbies and work and extracurricular activities. Again, they've linked it with patient care, which I think is really good. I know we talked about that last sentence, you know, support for vulnerable adults with dementia. I've learned to become more empathetic and non-judgmental. Again, I think because the whole paragraph is good, the sentence fits in. Whilst I think previously, because that whole paragraph was a bit of a mess, it didn't fit in as well. Like now they've already reflected throughout. I don't mind that sentence being there because I think they've reflected quite a bit anyway. So yeah, I think it's a good paragraph overall.
1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, like a 2.
That's it.
Solid 2.
You're both some hard, you know, examiners.
We are.
I probably give a good mark, so I hope that reflects. My opinion on this is, again, it's those better. And like Pav said, I still personally would have expanded on the dementia thing. I think that's something that's quite unique. So that would quite make you stand out probably a lot more than other ones. It is a lot better, flows a lot better. I still think it's too wordy though. I think you've got like lots of connective words, like moreover, and I don't know, I think you could just definitely make it more concise. I found I'm not particularly strong at sort of writing long paragraphs like this. I think lots of people generally have friends who've done like English degrees and stuff. Once you finish it, just send it over to them because they don't look at the specifics. They can help make things more concise. So that's just a general bit of advice because, again, there's potentially too many words. For example, it says completed their Bronze Award and this helped me to improve my, just say they completed their Bronze Award, improving my interpersonal skills. You save yourself like 5 words there and it's just a bit more concise. So that would be my only criticism.
Top tip from Stuart there, get yourself a friend studying English at university.
Yeah, well, if you're good at English, it's fine. But I think people who have got more experience in writing big, long paragraphs can help you get the most out of it. And they won't critique you on like the specifics of it.
What would you score this out of 3?
2 again.
2.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right. I think we're getting to the end actually, yeah. Okay. So I play for a football team on a weekly basis, and this allows me to continue keeping fit whilst taking a break from my academic commitments. I'm also a student ambassador, and this has given me the opportunity to improve my oral presentation skills through communicating with prospective students. Additionally, as a representative for my course, my peers were able to confide in me with issues which they wanted me to express to the teaching staff. These roles have demonstrated my reliability, time management, and decision-making skills. Stuart.
I think that's really good. It's perhaps the strongest paragraph, I think. And the reason I say that is I mentioned in a previous video about just having one sentence that demonstrates the key attributes. And at the end of this, they've put that, haven't they? They've put these roles that demonstrated reliability, time management, and decision. And then before that, they've given an example of how. And for me, it just reads really nicely. And it also demonstrates sort of leadership and management, which are important aspects of dentistry at the moment. So a lot better and probably, in my opinion, the strongest paragraph. So I'd probably give it I might even give it a 3.
A 3. Okay. She
Yeah.
rings a bell, you know.
Long last.
Okay, Pav.
Yeah, I agree with Stuart. Like when you read that, I was like, oh, it's a really nice, well-rounded paragraph. You've got the, point at the end. Point at the start, but you've just kind of finished it off at the end in a really good way. And those are the kind of skills you look for in dentistry. So again, it's that tick box exercise, and you've made it easy for the other person. I'm sure they were in there before somewhere, but it's just you have to lay it out very easily for someone to read and digest. And I think they've done that really well.
Yeah. I think with this paragraph, what I liked is the fact that I can see them as a dentist because of the skills that they're demonstrating. Things like leading a team, having a break from just work by playing football, and just the way they explain stuff in this paragraph, I can see them actually being a dentist.
That's good.
Okay, and then the finishing part. I believe that my experiences have allowed me to develop the necessary attributes required to cope with the intensive dentistry program. If given the opportunity, I look forward to further demonstrating and extending my skills throughout my career as a dentist. Pav.
Yeah, actually, it's quite nice. It almost made me think they've said that we've set up the kind of I've set up the foundations, and if you let me in, I'm going to build on it. I do think that sentence actually that me and Stuart really liked earlier on would have like been nice, but I think it's a good way of ending it off. It's not too much. They've not said too much. They've not had to reiterate everything that's been in the whole personal statement. It's just said, I've shown you everything I've got, and if I get the chance, I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's a really nice way of ending the personal statement. I'm not really sure what is the best way of ending a personal statement, but I think this is I would say this is a good way. It's just done it nicely.
Yeah. And looking at the personal statement as a whole, what would you give this one?
I think I'd definitely say it was a better than good. Like I would have given it like a 2.5, I think.
Okay.
I think when you put everything together, the quality of it is a lot better. So I think then you would have, like definitely, good to 2.5.
So if I was to put the two personal statements as two different people in front of you, would you take them both, or would you take none of them? If everything was based on their personal statement,
I would have took this final one. I think as you have to think about it in terms of the person who's reading it has got a lot of statements to read. It's a tick box exercise, and you've made it easy for them. The structure flows, everything's in there. It's easy to read. It's not as waffly at all. So, if you've made it easy for me, you'll get an interview.
Okay. So Pav wouldn't take the first one, but she would take the second one. Is that fair?
I think so. I don't know if I wouldn't take the first one. I think the information would be there, but it would be harder to find. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I probably, actually, maybe, I don't think I would take the first one. I think I would take the second one.
Okay. Stuart, what do you think about the concluding paragraph, and then what's your overall thoughts of the whole personal statement?
Yes, I think the last paragraph was good. I definitely would have put I think it was the third to last one, that sort of concluding remark. I would have put that at the end of this. I think that ties it off better. I think people vary on sort of the line, if given the opportunity. I'm not sure if I would put that. I'd perhaps maybe be not more positive, but say, not like saying I'm looking forward to the opportunity, but saying just get rid of that. I'd say I'd look forward to further demonstrating my extended skills. I don't know. I don't know. That's just opinion of myself. I think saying that you are ready and I'm ready to go, not if given the opportunity.
Okay.
That's just a personal opinion, and obviously it'll vary from person to person. Generally, the personal statement's considerably better than the other one. I think if I saw two side by side, I don't think the first one would get very far, frankly, because you're going to have thousands of applications, and I imagine the tutors will skim over it very quickly, and they'll be able to pick up quite quickly whether they're going to have a second look or not. Yeah. The issue with the first one is that it could tell that it was a first draft. So if I was reading it, I would think, oh, this person's not put a huge amount of time or effort into making this the best it can be.
Yeah.
And therefore that might sort of reflect on how they're going to approach studying dentistry, which maybe sounds a bit like a bit of a strange way to look at it, but it was just, it needed refining. And if you've not taken the time to refine your personal statement to get into dental school, for the person reading it, it might reflect on whether they're actually ready to study dentistry, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But a lot better, and you definitely pick this one up and offer an interview. I think overall I'd probably still give it a 2, but I think that's just because, I don't know, I think to get a really top mark in dentistry, you'd have to have an exceptional personal statement, which very, very few people have, to be honest. It's a difficult thing to get right.
Yeah. All right. So what Stuart and Pav didn't know is that these were my personal statements that got me into UCLan dental school. And looking at them and just reading through them, I think I would have given my first drafts a 1, and this one, yeah, I'll probably give it a 2. I can see a lot of places where I could have improved, but even moving it from a 1 to a 2, when it was a 1, I remember at that time I was in Leicester, and I thought this is an amazing personal statement. That first draft, in my mind, it was like, this is it. They have to get a place at dental school. But it's only when you start talking to dentists and they're telling you, no, this needs to change, this doesn't read well, restructure this part. It's only when you start to get that insight that you can actually improve on your personal statement. And I think what this has been showing me is the fact that you shouldn't keep your personal statement to yourself. Get others to have a look.
I know.
What did you guys say?
You've taken out that whole point about cosmetic dentistry, haven't you? You've taken all that out, which actually, looking back, it's funny that we both said similar things, but yeah, that it obviously worked in your favour. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't be recommending putting that whole thing about cosmetic dentistry. How was it for both of you doing your personal statements?
Pardon?
How was it for you guys doing your personal statements and working on the drafts?
Like you said, it's really hard work because for me personally, I didn't know anyone in dentistry. Like, you know, I think lots of people apply have like family or friends, so, or even in healthcare. So I didn't have any of that. So I found it a bit of a challenge. I think at college and then again at uni, I just took it to, like you said, when I did my work experience, asked people there or from friends who had already got into dental school and things like that, just to get a critique of it. I think it's actually quite useful just to get someone, you know, I was mentioning before about sort of an English student or just getting a friend to read it over.
Yeah.
Because they can understand the flow of stuff. If you can write in a personal statement that they understand and they can pick out the key points, then obviously someone who's sort of a bit more of an expert of reading things will be able to pick up more of the sort of elusive points that are not quite as obvious. So I think even getting to like a lay person to read it's really beneficial and useful as well, because they'll say stuff doesn't make sense.
Pav, how was it for you working through your personal statement?
Do you know, such a long time ago now, but I remember I did the same as you, Arnold. I wrote my first draft and I was like, wow, this is so good. And then someone read it and was like, there's so much waffle. And I was like, oh, it's true. And actually what I did, which really helped me, was I separated every single point into a bullet point, and I just made sure that every single sentence said something clear or was going to lead to something. And, you know, it went that way, really. I didn't, again, same as Stuart, really, didn't really know too many dentists, but there was a lot of us applying for dentistry at the time who were doing biomedicing. So I did send it to, you know, my cousin's cousin who's a dentist. And when he had a read of it, he said very similar things that, you know, be more concise, cut out a lot of the waffle, talk. He was like, reflect, reflect, reflect. And I think that's all I did in mine, reflect. So yeah, it helped.
Awesome. Guys, I hope that was helpful to all of you. Thank you to Stuart and thank you to Pav for taking the time out to actually go through these personal statements. And I'll probably be doing more of these with dentists. So if you want us to go through your personal statement anonymously, let me know, message me, and we'll put your personal statement to the test. So thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you, Arnold. That was really good.